Hello. Now I know that the videos can only be 15 minutes long, and it took me 2 tries to discover that. Yes. I'm discovering a lot about my energy by, becoming public on this. As when one is in the public, the energy is seen differently. And this is quite odd to me. But it's interesting. I want to show you something. Do you know who this is? Ooh, I believe it is the god Anubis. From ancient Egyptian, from ancient Egypt. So, out of all the gods and goddesses there, I believe I gravitate towards that one. Why I do is that he is involved with death, and in that he embalms, the god of embalming them, the making of the mummy. I guess that's what he does. This really interests me in that it's kind of a humble job, a humble position. It's a position of understanding of life and death, and I love how he honors death and life in his work, in that the caskets are beautiful. The ones, of course, on the richer caste of society. Yes, it is that way sometimes, I guess. But now we can learn from the beauty of those caskets, and today we can perhaps make our own caskets a little more decorative, a little more celebratory to our own liking. Personalize it, and even the more wealthy people could actually implement precious stones into such a casket and gold. I think it would be beautiful. To be conscious of of death, and to really know that it happens with understanding and acceptance. That enables one to know who God is just a little bit better. Yes, because God creates both life and death. To acknowledge that He creates both can really change the outlook in a person's life. And I question, is that changed person more in line with God then, as he understands more of God's evidently created process for us? Of course, implied is my beliefs, and that statement and stuff revolves around my beliefs, but it is a question I have, and I'm sure there would be many answers, many different answers, perspectives. I am watching the timer, so I'm not going to be cut off in the middle of a word or a sentence this time, hopefully. Hopefully I'll be able to end it, wrap it up in a nice way, which I didn't do with the last two, so there is no closure. What shall I talk about now? Ancient Egypt. I would really like to channel someday, and to some extent I do believe that I do, in that perhaps my higher self a little bit. I think I'm in tune with that some. Yes, when I think with my higher self mind, the logic is much different than with my just the person self. I find that the higher self brings more peace into his words and his action, his words and his meanings. This self, it doesn't really care about that too much. It cares about having fun and fulfilling its own self. What it could realize is that one could be quite fulfilled if he does pay attention to his higher self. Not only does it bring peace to others by putting you in line with that type of energy, as they will see peace when they see you. But it does give you fulfillment on a certain level. It can make you understand energy, and energy, perhaps, yes, can bring pleasure. And that's what we seek in this body, from my perspective. Yes, so tuning into my higher self does enlighten me to greater perspective than a usual self. What I would like to do is actually channel something that has a name, and if it is already contacting me, which really could be the case, as there are many things that are happening that I'm not discussing because I'm discussing this right now. Yes, it could be happening. So I guess my process, if this is happening, is one of a gradual acclimation to understanding the spirit's point of view and how his point of view is relevant and how it would interact effectively in this world and still be truthful to him and to me and to the spirit world. He's just kind of answering some of my basic questions right now. Yeah. I couldn't tell you who I hope to channel. Hermes sounds good. I'm thinking about Hermes Trismegistus, just because how he's so involved. I think, didn't he invent or lay down the road for alchemy? Yes, that energy, that thought process is very interesting to me, and I think if he combines those facts that he knows, that he sees, that he knows with my energy, I am just very curious as to what would come out. Yeah. Alchemy interests me. Alchemical pictures, I think they're awesome. They really do describe some higher truths, some truths that we just cannot grasp in any other way except looking at those pictures. And they're so obscure, and they have so many different polarities in them. I mean, they just have differences. And the differences and the different energies in these differences, when they are put together, it creates a conversation between those two energies to make something real as the conversation comes to closure and understanding in a peaceful manner. And so those pictures are describe processes of alchemy, stages of it. Indeed, they are not gloriously beautiful and perfect like an omnipotent light, you know, just divine. They inspire thinking. They do. Of course I believe divinity is there, but I do like to think about it sometimes. And I really do recognize his thought process as something very important to humanity. It implements natural things, and he puts them together to create tensions. And these natural things really do exist in life. And the meaning he creates meanings for these natural things. So when we see the natural thing outside of us, we may associate it with what we have seen and learned in alchemy, such as, I believe there's a black toad, and there's like other stuff, and perhaps those objects are key points that we could consider and study and learn from. It doesn't include everything in the universe, but it describes a law that is common in this world. To understand that law is to come to terms with many things that happen. Alchemy just has a certain energy that I like. It's kind of gritty, humorous, adventuresome, earthy, like rocks. And I like this. There's lots of other modes and ideas and ways to understand the universe and this world. But I really like alchemy, etc. So Hermes just make us really cool. But there are other Hermes out there, like the Greek god Hermes and Herm-Anubis. So you want to see him? This is Anubis. I believe there's importance associated with that word, the Hermes word. And so any one of those would be interesting to get to know. And I believe I have been getting to know the energy of this for quite some time. To really realize it consciously, though, and interpret what you know into words and ideas that make sense, it's going to take some work. My time is almost out. If you channel, or if you have any advice how I should go about this, or if you just like Hermes and want to give me a few ideas on who he is from your perspective, it would help me understand what I want to do a little more. That would be cool. I love comments. I love creativity and writing and spontaneity. Stream of consciousness is the best. So really, I love all comments, and I believe all comments are relevant for some reason. Yes. So I will end it at that. Have a great day. I hope you enjoy your wonderful world, and I will enjoy mine. And we'll come back to this place again to learn more about my energy, etc. That sounds selfish, and I cannot explain it because I'm almost out of time. See ya.